Yes, indeed. Welcome back to show number 4 of the Power Wheels podcast. I am your host, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great. And over to my virtual right, I guess, or left now, because I'm so confused. I'm usually on that side, is my friend and good co-host, Alan Placer of ML Toys. What's up, Alan?
How are you, Lefty? Long time no sit.
I know it's been busy, right?
Yeah,
Um,
you've been traveling the US RC racing. I've been knuckling down doing a whole lot of stuff for ML Toys, and we haven't gotten to play together.
no, you've been busy. You've been traveling for RC too. I see you. Going
I
up to
have.
LCRC,
Yeah, a couple
all of that
trips.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I we'll get more into that as we get on. We're gonna talk about some cool, new, exciting things that you have on in the mix. Um, and a race that you're gonna be attending here shortly. And yeah, some more cool Power Wheel stuff, some catch up because we haven't talked in quite a time. So before I do that, I just want to say thank you to you, ML Toys, for sponsoring this and making this happen. We greatly appreciate it. If you guys wish to support the podcast, you can go to ML Toys, use our promo code, save 10%. It's PW space podcast. And that's all caps for PW and P on podcast. And you can save some money. Also, a big shout out to my friend Frank Zell, home of the hustle. Get some of his coffee. Get shiz done coffee. I won't say the real word here on this because it's maybe children watching, but some great coffee. We have a coupon code for that. He sponsors my RC podcast. And something I thought that might cross over because I use this on my stuff to clean my RC stuff is Call RC. They're a premium RC brand, and they have lots of products that you might find handy for your Power Wheel. So go check them out. We have links for that in the written description of the podcast. And I say we just get right into it.
We could do that.
So
I thought you were gonna say that you were using the coffee to clean your cars.
no, but no. But I do. I like his hot coffee. I'm a hot coffee guy more than a cold coffee. I don't know if you're a coffee drinker.
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay, because I know some people ain't. I don't know how they get through in life. But yeah, I definitely like it. Frank's out. Check him out. Him also. He just built an RC track too. So as you said, it's been a busy time for me. I just spent 5 weeks on the road doing RC stuff. And for people that don't know, that's from the time I leave my home to the time I get back home, it's like go, go, go. Alan, you've been to these races, you know it's 16-hour days for us at this race once we get going. We went to 5 different races around mostly around the Southeast, Atlanta and Florida, up to Michigan for a race for me as well. So it was a lot of traveling, lots of driving, lots of I had fun, got to do some racing, which was fun. I haven't done that for a long time. It reminds me why I enjoy RC. But, it was a lot. A go, 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 missing home, missing family, missing kids, missing work. I wasn't able to record and all this type of stuff, but it was fun and it's part of what I do. So, you know how the RC circus is. You do it. You're a racer. We work it, and we're up there the week days before you guys get there and a day after you get there. So, we see you come and we see you leave. So it was busy for me. I've been home for about 2 weeks, and now we're getting to record because you have some cool stuff on the way. Um, also, I we're gonna get to modifying my daughter's car, so my buddy's got to come help me with it. But dude, she grew in the 5 weeks I was gone. I think we're gonna have to put the extension on her dune buggy.
Ah, the big kid dune racer kit. Okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
like another 3 or 4 months, and she's not. She's already her knees are almost to the steering wheel, so she is anxious about that. My buddy's gonna come over. He's got the tools. He's got the power tools. He's got the knowledge. He's got the patience. So we're gonna follow your directions on YouTube and get some lights installed and get those. I think it's the stage 4 kit that you
Stage
sent me.
4 that we sent you. Yeah.
Yeah. So very interested in that. And we're gonna talk about breaking in motors and all that stuff as well today. All right, Alan, enough about me, enough jibber jabber about me. What about you? You've kind of been doing RC life, Power Wheels life, all that type of stuff as well.
Yeah, it's been very, very busy. RC life is, I race RC cars. It's a hobby, but it leads me to help with the tech in in the Power Wheels world because it is very, very similar how it works. Um, and We just picked up a new RV that's both for the RC racing and for the Power Wheels racing because we're going to be doing some traveling. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And I don't know, I think that's occupied 90% of my time lately.
Yeah, also because it's summertime or springtime, going to summertime, I would guess up there in the Northeast, so you got outdoor tracks open up. I know LCRC, which is a beautiful facility, which lost their roof in a rainstorm, I saw, but you said they have gotten the roof back on and are just redecorating, redesigning inside, so well done to the community out there for helping them. You've been up there quite a lot. They've had a lot of racing, a lot of plagued with rain. You had
Yeah.
rain.
Play with rain, but let me tell you, we're off-road racers, and that's part of what comes with it, and you adapt. You make changes. There was one point where it rained during our heats, and they pulled us off the track. They said, "All right, we're gonna rerun the heat." So we're getting that was, e-truggies, and we're getting the cars all turned around for wet weather use and new batteries in them. And they said, "Oh, we're gonna run 40 plus while the e-truggy guys are getting ready to run." Well, guess what? We were in the 40 plus class too, so now we gotta get those cars ready for wet weather track, and it was a fun kerfluffle, as you would say. I enjoy those kinds of challenges. Throw them at us, and, we always have fun, and, you know RC racing, power wheel racing, it's all about the community. So when you have downtime at the track for weather, you're hanging out with the people there and having a good time.
Yeah, I enjoy my time at the RC tracks. I enjoy it. I'm sure it's very similar for the Power Wheels. It's a lot more children. Obviously, it's a child, a young person's based sport hobby. Believe it or not, RC is not. You
No,
would think it is, but it is not. It is mostly catered to men our age. Uh, but it's cool. So I know on a tangent about RC. I'm gonna wrap it up on RC. So another gentleman who's a race promoter, Brian Boucher, he's gonna come on here and we're gonna have a chat as well. He's a RC racer from up in Michigan. Didn't know that.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I didn't know that either. Did not know that. He's like a avid RC racer. Like RC1, where I went, is his home track. He probably doesn't race as much as he used to. But they had a successful event up there this past weekend for I think it's Lapeer Kids
Lapeer,
Racing.
yep, in
Yep.
Lapeer, Michigan.
Mhm. We're looking to have Alex, who's, like, blowing up like a superstar. I saw him on this badass podcast, and I was like, "If I could do live shows where I have people in-house, that would be it." Just like how it was with him. He's been uber busy. We're gonna get him in to talk about his events. He had a very good event, down in Texas, then the
Yep,
one in Baltimore with the guys, Asian and
yep.
Farm Truck.
And then he just had a big race in Carlisle too, big car town.
Yeah. He's everywhere, and I can understand why he has no time. And then you guys have a race coming
Yeah,
up here shortly as well. Maybe we can. Uh, by the way, I just wanted to say shout out to him and everybody involved in that because they're doing great things. Like
yeah,
what that guy's doing is what we kind of striving for in RC. We want to get our hooks in there and get get somebody famous like those guys checking racing our stuff, and he's got that, and those guys are all into it. So kudos to him because I know it's a lot of work. Kudos to you as well, sponsoring and believing in what he does. Um, Maybe that's a great segue into your race that you have coming up because you are
sure.
preparing for a big race. You have some exciting news. There's going to be some filming going on there as well.
Yes, this isn't my race. We're actually blessed to participate in it. If any of you guys are car guys, remember the show Pink's All Out? It was probably Motor Trend TV back then. They're rebooting it. They're doing Pink's 2.0, and it's going to be at Rockingham drag strip in North Carolina with real people racing for pink slips on real cars. But they asked Alex to bring Oxford Power Wheel down to do a race at the track as part of the TV show. So Alex doing this in Alex style, he called out, all of his groups. So I know the Texas Power Wheel group is coming, and a lot of locals are coming to it. And so there's going to be, an opportunity to have your Power Wheels race on TV. On top of that, we're coming down there with Alex to do a photo shoot for ML Toys. So, off to the side of the track, we're going to be giving away a brand new Power Wheels Dune Racer to, everybody who participates gets a shot at it. And we're going to have our own photographers doing some B roll and getting footage of kids having a good time on their cars. So this doesn't even have to be drag racing cars. This is just your regular everyday backyard cars that you can bring down to the track. You do have to pay the entrance fee at the track to come in, but after that, it's free to watch and participate. So there's just a whole lot of Power Wheel activity going on in one place at the race. It's going to be a really good time. That's Saturday, June 14th, that we're doing that. It'll start early in the morning. If you go to the Oxford Power Wheel Facebook page, there is a pre-registration there. You do have to pre-register to go. So get signed up on there, Oxford Power Wheels Facebook page, and it's gonna be a great time. I look forward. I'm picking up Alex in a trailer loaded with Power Wheels and his family, and we're gonna RV down to there and just make it a really enjoyable event for everybody.
How long are you gonna be down there for?
I was just talking to Alex before the show. I think just 2 or 3 days. We have some again, it's called B-roll shooting. It's just extra shots that you do that we'll be doing the day before. And we may stay on Sunday to just enjoy the racing there. So I don't know. It's gonna be, 3, 4 days probably.
How long is the trip down there from where you are, roughly?
With the RV and his trailer, I think it's gonna be about a 10 to 12-hour trip.
Okay.
Yeah, not too bad.
No, not too bad. Gonna be expensive. That trailer.
That's not a cheap thing, but, the exposure that it's getting for
Mhm,
the growing racing hobby and also the R&D that we're getting, from these racers who are just pushing our stuff. We were a little resistant at first. We're like, "Oh, well, you're using this stuff for racing. It's not for that." But as the sport grows, we're like, "All right, well, now we wanna design stuff for racing. There's enough of a
mhm,
market for it." So I'm anxious to get there and see what when cars fail is what I'm looking for. So
mhm.
I can see, all right, well, what failed? What conditions was it? Was it during braking, accelerating? And try to design the products to be even better and more durable. It's been maybe 2 years since I've been to one of Alex's races, so it's one thing to watch him on TV, but to be there live, I'm very curious to see how much of a difference I see in the speed of the cars that he's getting.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Great points. Using it as R&D. I was gonna ask, are you gonna be set up as a vendor as per se? Is it like when we go to a RC race where we see different vendors set up or shop set up? Is it like that at all? Or how is it usually set up?
Yeah, it's a good question. Most of the races is usually not stuff for sale because we're not
Mhm,
there. Alex, has some parts, but we're gonna have a pop up tent there with parts, replacement parts, upgrade parts. Help keep the racers going. Um, and we'll get into some of that when we get to the new parts section. Um, you also can place an order on the ML Toys website right now and select pickup at the race event, and we'll bring it down. It shuts off like 2 days before we head down, just so I have time to gather all the stuff and get it stowed. So that's another option. It's just pre-order. I would recommend that highly because we can only bring so much stuff to the track.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Saves a lot on shipping, right? Especially those heavy stuff that people need.
Yeah,
Uh,
batteries. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So good job. If you do want to get some parts, and don't forget, I'm shameless plug. You can use our promo code. It's in the written description, and get that stuff delivered to, so Alan can bring it and do it fast because, like you said, you run out of weight. You want to run out of limit of stuff you can carry,
Yep.
and it looks like a good event, dude. My daughter just keeps asking me when we're gonna go to one of these, so I have to make it happen. This would have been a good one to come to, but that 5 weeks kinda messed up a lot of things, so maybe later on this year,
There'll
we
be
can
more.
work on something. Yeah, there will be more. Cool stuff, man. Good to see you getting back out there into the racing side of things. Also, I just wanted to reiterate, we're not just about the drag racing stuff. I know some people said there's other things as well. I tell you what, we're looking for some B-roll to add to our intro on here. So, preferably in landscape 16 by 9 aspect. If you guys have any bashing, any type of video from any events, anything to do with Power Wheels, send it to me. And if with your permission to use it in the intro, because we're gonna develop that up, make it a little bit longer. All right. I guess we should segue into our next topic, which is another one by you, which is actually great. and that is establishing national service centers. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to let you take the floor on this. Tell us exactly what you have in mind.
Yeah, this is something we've dabbled with a little bit in the past. I'm really, really excited that we've doubled down on doing this. A lot of people, as much as we make this stuff plug and play easy to install, they still don't want to do it or don't have the time to do it, just too intimidated by it. So we're setting up service centers around the country, and we're using existing service centers for ride-on cars as the catalyst. If you are an existing service center, you can reach out to me directly, or you will be getting reached out to. And people, you'll all be able to bring your cars in to either get the modifications put in, or if you're having problems with some of the modifications, these service centers will be qualified to um, do the repairs on site, cover any warranty work. They'll have much quicker direct access to our techs and our facility. You can also buy the parts directly from them. You don't have to order it online and bring it from to them. That actually it'll actually work out better if you buy them through the service center, because you don't want to accidentally buy incompatible stuff and then be stuck with it. So that's gonna be really cool. We actually hired, somebody who's been an expert in the Power Wheels field for over 20 years, 25 years, and has worked with most of the service centers in the past. Like I said, she'll be reaching out to a lot of the service centers to get this put in place, and it won't cost you guys any more. We're not making any money on this. We're, obviously discounting the parts to the service centers, and they get to keep 100% of any labor charge that they choose to put forth.
Interesting. So, I would say, where do you want these service centers? What areas of the country? I'm assuming this might have to be worldwide too at some point. And my next question would be, how do you qualify to be a service center?
Yeah. The service centers will, they need to be located obviously where there's geographic need for it. You're welcome to set up as a service center, but if you're in the middle of a farm field in Iowa, I don't know that you're going to get too much to work on. Um, we're not at this point. We're not setting up like geographic territories where you're locked into one. We're just starting, so we got to build them out. Qualifications will right now. The very simple qualification is if you're already an existing ride-on service center, then you there's no reason you shouldn't qualify to put in the modifications. You already know how to do all this, and we'll just walk service centers through this as they have questions and want to get established. If you're not a service center right now, it does require liability insurance to do this kind of thing. Most existing service centers already have that for whatever company they're working with, whether it's Peg Parego, Power Wheels, Razor. They all require this. Um, and it's been when we tried to set it up in the past, it's been the stopping block for dads working out of the garage that just want to help out and do service. They don't have the liability insurance, and welcome to our world. You have to have that. So you'll be able to feel rest assured that if you're working with a service center, that these guys will know what they're doing to be able to get your car going.
Okay, all right, I get it. You have to kind of uh, dot your I's and cross your T's with this. When can we expect the first one to be up and running? I guess.
I would say end of the summer, probably. I don't know that we'll have it running during the summer. Could be sooner though. It's a little preliminary to say.
Okay, sweet, 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 sweet. All right, that's interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. I guess. Yeah, like people like me who don't want to do the work, they could just take it to somebody and get it done, and probably done much better than how I would do it.
Yeah, you've been waiting what 2, 3 months to put your modifications in, whether it's you don't have time or your arm issue. So now you'll
Yeah, I
have a
need some help
solution to
with
get
it.
this stuff done. Yeah.
I need my buddy here to help me with it, because there might require. I'm not called Lefty. I'm called Lefty for a reason. Um, all right. I think we're gonna play a commercial, and then we're gonna get back into some new products that we have from ML Toys.
Are you looking to take your ride-on car to the next level? Ride-on cars are fun and look good, but they're just too slow. ML Toys makes it easy. With plug-and-play modifications like motors, speed and brake controls, advanced gearing options, 4-point safety harnesses, and lighting upgrades like emergency lights, underglow kits, and headlights, ML Toys is the one-stop shop to make your ride-on car the coolest ride-on car in the neighborhood.
That's right, and you can use our promo code capital P, capital W, space, capital pod P, and then podcast after that. ODCAST, save 10%. And we both know that guy who made that commercial too.
And Jack Mulligan, a great guy. He does actually a lot with, electric dirt bikes.
I know that.
He's very heavily involved with modifying them.
Yeah, he hasn't done any RC for a minute. So he must have
Yeah.
he's the dirt bikes have got his full attention to
Yes.
that. About great dude. All right, let's move into some new products. Yes, I'm excited to hear about this because I haven't even we haven't even talked about them much. We talked about something,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
no,
that's gonna come up last.
yeah, we'll save the big one for later. So yeah, we've got a couple of new things coming out. As we've mentioned in earlier podcasts, we've been working with Rider Toys to try to improve their vehicles in both speed and durability. One of the things we found we had to do right off the bat was the electronics in it could not handle any faster motor, no matter how much little more speed you add in a motor. The electronics were just failing with it, and then gearboxes, voltage changes. You couldn't do anything with it. So we have a new speed controller. It's, I hate to say it, but it's in a cargo container on the way here right now. It went through the R&D phases. It actually went pretty quick and easy. So for anybody with a 24-volt four-wheel drive ride-on, this speed controller will plug directly into your existing plugs and be able to take more powerful motors. The more powerful motor end of it for their particular cars we're developing. But this is also be really helpful for the homemade folks that want to make their own four-wheel drive conversions to Power Wheels. We get that question all the time. Um, this will be the electronics that you need to make it happen. So I'm excited for that. So that's
I have
one
a
cool.
question.
Yeah.
I have a question before you go on.
Uh-huh.
I meant to ask that I'll be asking this on my RC podcast, but you mentioned the boat. How did the tariffs affect your business at all? Or if it did it affect it at all?
Yeah, so the tariffs, we were very fortunate when it was, what was it, 125% tariff for a while there. We didn't have anything coming into the country at that time, so we're good. Our ship on the water right now, the way tariffs work is it's priced by what the tariff is when it lands.
Mm,
So, and that stinks if you ship something when it was 5% tariff and then you got hit with the 125 when it landed. That was very difficult for a lot of companies. So the tariff right now is about 30%. And if it's still 30% when this container lands, we're actually probably going to try to absorb all of the tariff
mhm.
charge for our customers. Yeah, it's not fair to anybody. It's definitely a killer to small businesses that are dealing with this. But on this particular container and the other products that are in it, we should be able to absorb all of it if it stays at 30. Who knows? Maybe it'll be back down to 5. Maybe it'll be at 200. Politics.
Politics. But
Politics.
what I know. All right. Up next, what else do you have cooking in the oven there at
So,
ML Toys?
yep, we got a couple other things. So one thing we just finally got out was new stickers. They're on the website now. People with the Power Wheels Porsche GT3, C7 Corvette, Mustangs, and Cadillac Escalades. Those sticker sheets have been discontinued by Power Wheels for years. We just worked with a really nice lady at Toy Restore who has non-licensing violating sticker sheets that will replace your headlights, taillights, grills, some of the stripes on the car. So we have them available on the website now and help make the cars look cool again. So we were excited to get that. Stickers have been way more challenging than you would think they should be to
Why is
produce.
that?
Well, you need the digital sticker sheet. Like if I'm going to make a tail light because like the Mustang has, you know, a blank tailgate. So you need to get that drawn in the right shape into a computer, and and then produced on a good enough quality outdoor vinyl sticker sheet, multicolor, and ideally it needs to be pre-cut too. So it's not the cheapest vinyl printing machines, and then you wind up with a sticker sheet that costs $50 if you don't have the right processes to do it. Nobody wants to spend that.
That makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So we got 2 other cool products that are on the way. One, hopefully in the next 2 weeks. This is thanks to Alex Teeter at Oxford Power Wheel Racing. We've been working, like I said earlier, really close to come up with things to help people get into the racing community easier. So one actually transforms not just from racing, but also into backyard bashing, is a steering stabilizer bar, which basically goes onto your existing steering linkage and keeps the tires from towing out, bowing out, cambering in. It's adjustable, and it's a very easy to install linkage rod. It's just going to be pre-cut to the right lengths, adjustable Heim links on the end. And that'll help make the cars be stronger and last longer. They use it pretty standard in drag racing because they want to adjust the toe in the cars, but it's also a great part for Power Wheel cars and other brands just to help them last longer and steer better. And then the other one that we're working on is wheelie bars for drag racing. I mean, I guess you could use it in backyard bashing, but I don't know that you need that. But we are coming out with a universal wheelie bar kit. Um, I think it's probably gonna take about another month and a half before that one hits the market. But again, that's thanks to Alex. It's his designs. Originally when he worked with them, these things were welded together, and he's like, "Here, you could sell these." And I was like, "Alex, your average dad's not gonna weld a wheelie bar. I need something that we can bolt together." So we worked together and have come up with a kit that we're just starting production on now. We got a couple little kinks to work out, but that'll be available soon too. And that's it for the new add-on products for cars. That's should get us through the summer, I believe.
Yeah, you've been busy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot.
How long does it take, for instance, to take an idea like the wheelie bar that Alex had from a welded do it yourself type of thing to a production thing where an idiot like me can put it together?
Yeah, well, there's the Alex having time to work on the project issue. So and we get that totally. Um, but he's the one that's got the ability to test these things too,
Mm,
because
mhm,
his cars are putting out the most power. And if we're going to produce a wheelie bar, we can't have it folding up and flipping a kid over. So we need them tested on extremely powerful cars. So we've been working on the wheelie bar probably for 3 or 4 months now, to get it to a point where we we can basically right now we're assembling the prototype that
mhm,
should be the final prototype and be able to go into production. The again, it falls down to you have to have the parts sustainable. The rods for the wheelie bars, it's not just you don't just buy them pre-cut. We have to have a machine shop to cut them to length, put threading in them. So there's a lot to it because we don't want the dads to have to thread a tube. So everything's going to come pre-cut and assemble and bolt to the car. And that was another challenge was making it universal enough to bolt to the majority of cars being used in racing today. Fun stuff.
I was about to say because it's a big difference between one of those, Corvettes and stuff and, like, that dune buggy racer that I have.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Finding the place to bolt it onto the car, it can be a challenge on some cars, and it will be listed as which cars these bars are designed to
mm,
work for. Like your dune racer is really not so much for the drag. It's not well, it's okay for the drag strip, but it's not pulling wheelies.
mhm.
It's more of the Corvettes, Mustangs, those kind of cars that we're lifting up in the air, Jeep Wranglers. So, gonna help keep them on the ground.
Good, good. That's how progression happens, right?
Yeah.
That's how more people get into racing when you make it easier for
Yeah.
them to do it, and more people can do it a lot easier. All good stuff, man. All great stuff. All right, but you've been uber busy, and our next thing is an exclusive, by the way. So I'm gonna. This is your podcast this week. So I'm just gonna be quiet and let you tell this story. You let me know when you want me to bring up the pictures.
Okay. So we've been at this for 16 years now. And when I started this business as a side hustle, I knew the ultimate level to take this to would be if you could buy, I'm going to use the term generically, Power Wheels, buy a Power Wheels car that you knew out of the box was designed to be modified and had plug and play upgrades for it. So as your kid grows bigger, wants more speed, you could just buy something that plugs right in to make it faster, whether it's batteries, motors, gears. You could just plug in lighting kits to it, change the hubcaps, change sticker sheets, things that were pre-made for it. And the last year, we've really, because of the way the Power Wheel market of available cars has been changing, we've really seen a gap in premium cars out there that take modifications well. So we've decided it's time to launch our own line of ride-on cars. And we're really excited. There's a lot of anxiety to it. This is something that we have to get, you know, almost entirely right on the first try. The people that buy the first batch, they have to have working cars. And there's a lot to it. And you can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to produce a Power Wheel car." You have to come out with a line of them, and each one has its own unique needs to it. And so we decided it's time to pull the trigger and actually make it happen. That you'll be able to buy cars that are designed for modification. It's part of the reason for the service centers around the country is, we're going to want to have, I want to do it right, like really right, so that you'll have support for your car locally when you get it, if you need help with it. So those service centers are going to be able to work on those cars, whether it's stock repairs or upgrades. And we want to see where we can grow this to. So it's been a lot of work to design your own car. We make gearboxes and we make motors and we make electronics, but to put it all together into your own thing is tough. So we have three different cars that we're gonna come out with to start, and the goal is to have them about a year from now, late spring next year. We'd like to have all three of them on the market. They're gonna be sold through our website. We may have other online places that you could purchase them through. Initially, they won't be in Toys R Us. Listen to me, Walmart, Targets, places like that. We want to just get the basics down first. So, um, Lefty, you want to show them the cars? You want to pick one? We'll talk about each one as we go.
There we go.
Cool. So these are just drawings that we're using for inspiration. Some of you guys may recognize this car. This was actually produced. We don't even know the company that produced it. They called it the Sleekster, I believe. Um, but it's been long out of production. The molds are all gone. It was again a cheap quality car. But what we love about this is going to be our street car. So we're doing one street car to start, and it's very inexpensive on the molds to produce. We're probably going to spend the most money on that nice little small block 350 up at the front. And that'll be a part that you'll be able to purchase separately to put onto your other cars if you want. Have a nice blower sticking out of the hood of a Mustang. Who doesn't want that? This is going to be able to adapt the wheelie bar. All of the cars, we're going to make them so that they come with a 12-volt battery, but the battery compartments are going to be expandable to handle an 18-volt SLA battery or a 24-volt SLA battery. We're hoping to get the battery up under the motor on this so that on the street car, you get the weight up forward. We'll give you more steering and keep the wheelies down to a minimum. And we are going to add some big old headlights to the front of it, so you can light it up, and it'll have tail lights on it, and lots of other cool stuff. So we haven't even named the car yet. We're just calling it our on-road car for right now. Fire truck. Because, that's just the easy, basic one to help pay the bills. Some of you may recognize this. This was an existing mold that we are taking the mold and modifying it to take our gearboxes so it'll have the durability. It will be expandable battery chamber in it also. So I don't know why you'd want to make it faster, but we want to make everything faster. So you can. This will have working emergency lights on it, a play CB radio, and a working water cannon. You got to have a working water cannon on the fire truck. So pretty basic, easy one. Again, help pay the bills, make it look cool. We are actually working with some fire truck manufacturers of real ones to see if they want to put their branding onto it. So that'll make it cool. If you're a fire truck manufacturer and you're listening, reach out before somebody else beats you to it. This is my favorite. This is our off-road dune buggy. This is inspired by our radio control car racing days. It's you can see the driver in it. Like if that was a kid in it, this car would be huge. So we are going to be chopping it up a little bit more. But this is cool because this is going to be an off-road race car. It's going to come as two-wheel drive, but be easily adaptable to four-wheel drive if you want. We make it come as two-wheel drive to make it affordable for you in the beginning, and not everybody needs it. If you're just running around in your lawn, you don't necessarily need four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive is going to drain batteries quicker. It makes it not turn as tight. But for the diehard off-roaders, you're gonna have four-wheel drive option. Those lights will be working. I'm sure everybody's gonna wanna upgrade the speed in it, so all 4 gearboxes will be our Phoenix gearboxes on it, and, expandable battery tray. Just a lot of fun stuff for it. Different sticker packages available for all the cars too, so you can customize them your way. Uh, Probably make the wheelie bar adapt to it yet, but we're not quite sure. I don't know if there'll be need for that. We'll see.
Reminds me of a grasshopper.
It's actually started. My inspiration was the old Tamiya Rough Rider and Super Champ. For the old guys listening to the show, so yeah, it definitely is inspired by RC car. It's California dune buggy style. It's got plenty of ground clearance with it. It's going to use our taller tires and we've learned what makes cars not go in the grass, mud, dirt, hills. So we're hopefully going to conquer that with this. It'll have an off-road tread pattern too.
Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. I want to track back because this wasn't an easy decision. You said there was a lot of anxiety. I know through our conversations, you went different roads prior to this. None of them kind of worked. I guess my question would be, uh, how does one start this? Like, and a better question, what are some of the things that you were going to do different to these that you've learned from other vehicles that you worked on over the years?
Yeah, so, I mean, what we're going to do different is durability. That's number one. When you modify these cars with these cheap cars that are coming from overseas, what the problem we're seeing is you put a new motor in it, the gearbox gives up. If you had a stronger gearbox, the electronics give up. If you had stronger electronics, the steering system gives up. So everything is going to be designed to be a little bit beefier right from the get-go to handle, what you guys want your kids to be able to do with them. We tried partnering with auto manufacturers. They want licensing fees that are just ridiculous, and it doesn't make a better car just because it looks like a particular real car. I don't want to name names. So we abandoned that idea. My thought is after we have these 3 cars proving their worth on the market for a couple of years, I'm going to charge the automotive manufacturers to have their name on my car. Yes, I'm going to be like, look, if you want to make an F-150 Raptor, you're going to pay us to have the best F-150 Power Wheel Raptor on the market today. I'd love to get it to that level. Why should I be paying them when I'm putting kids into cars that they're going to want to drive when they get their driver's license.
Good way of thinking. Good way of thinking. Big project, Alan. Big project.
Huge project. So um, the company in China that makes our modification parts. This is some fun, interesting stuff for you guys. Stuff I've learned over the years. All of these cheap cars coming from overseas. There's like a couple square block area in China that all these cars are made in, and they don't all necessarily make the car. Some of them will make the electronics. Somebody will make the tires, and they conglomerate together and come up with this stuff. The company we've been working with forever is really into making them better quality. They understand that that's how they separate themselves from everybody else. And that's how we've been able to come up with a lot of these better electronics, the better gearboxes and things that are unique to us. And that's another nice thing is this company works uniquely with us. Um, so they've been pushing me for 10 years to make our own car. And I again, we just finally got to the point where we can do that. And so he's able to use his power um, with with the other companies to get the components we need built at a higher quality level. They all always have the capability to do it, but the I don't know if it's the culture, the economy, or whatever it is over there. They tend to make things the cheapest way they can do it. So we're going to change that. And the cheaper cars are always going to be out there. You haven't heard me say I'm going to make the least expensive cars on the market. So there is going to be a need for less expensive cars, but less expensive definitely is cheaper. So he's helping us design the cars. So the way this works is we're going to spend most of the summer into the fall in design phase. It's one thing to have a drawing, but then they now have to put this into computers and figure out, well, where do we fit the gearboxes? Where do we fit the batteries? 3D CAD, how this expandable battery tray is going to work. What about suspensions in the cars? And that's all got to get designed, and we're going to go back and forth a bunch on that, and get it as perfected as we can. And then at some point, we have to start making the molds for the plastic parts. Um, and when you make a mold, you have to pay for the mold, and you have to try it on the car. And if it's not right, that mold's in the garbage, and you got to pay for another mold to get it right. You really can't modify a whole lot. So there's going to be R&D time over the winter time. And of course, at some point they have to ship cars to us, which takes time for us to put our own kids into and let them test them in a variety of conditions. Hopefully we don't have too much back and forth time with that, which costs a lot of time and costs a lot of money. And we get, by the late spring, a finished product that's you know, packaged, which is a whole nother issue on packaging the cars to ship overseas, and what we call third party logistics. Right now we ship all of our parts out of our one location that we have, but you don't do that with a ride on car. They need to be strategically located around the country to keep shipping costs to a minimum. So there's going to be that issue to learn and work with, and yeah, get them out to everybody. So that's what we're doing at ML Toys right now.
Yeah, you're pretty busy. Pretty busy. Okay. Quick questions. You said they're not gonna be cheap. What is the price range we're looking at for these vehicles?
Early to say.
Too early?
I would like even like the off-road car, I'm sure will be the most expensive one. My goal is it needs to be under $1,000.
Okay.
I know that there are people selling cars for more than that today, and they are moving, and that's great. Um, to 800 would be an ideal footprint to me, but it's way too early to say. So
Now, will these cars be faster or better equipped with better electronics and all that stuff than that you already have tested and tried and tuned, and then people can just go faster from there if they want?
so one of the hurdles we have to work with is there are regulations in the United States. I believe we're going to have to cap them out of the box at 5, 6 miles per hour. There's no regulations on modifying the cars after the fact. So that's why they're all going to come starting at that 12 volt with the base speed level that we're used to today. But then you'll be able to go nuts after that.
Got you. Got you. And to your point about dealing with the factory, this sounds a lot like I've never dealt with them personally, but I've watched JQ deal with them and dealings with his RC stuff. And to get a factory that does what you want over there with minimum cost, and not minimum cost, but minimum time wasted, because I'm sure it's very similar to the RC industry. There's people that make certain aspects of cars, there's people that make the metal side, the mold side, all that type of stuff. But these factories, even if you had experience with them for many years, they screw you over in little ways that you may not even realize. Like, I'll give an example. One of the ways that they screwed us over was these screws. They knew these screws break, right? They know they break, but they still have them and they put them in a kit. So people buy a batch of kits, the screws are breaking. And it's really important to have a great relationship with that factory over there to get this done, because now you're dealing with much bigger projects, much bigger molds. I mean, to get molds done in the RC industry is expensive, right? And they're smaller, way smaller than this. So I couldn't even imagine what the cost of a body mold for these is like, or tire molds and all this type of stuff. So lots of cost, but when you have a company like that, I know what you mean, time wasted, because it takes so much time, right? An email her that takes a day to respond or 2 days to test, gets back to you. Then they have Chinese New Year, which nobody really knows how long lasts. Sometimes it's 3 weeks, sometimes it's 6 weeks, who knows, right? These are all the manufacturing. uh, it's not as efficient over there as people think it is. It's you gotta pick through the weeds to find the flowers.
Yeah, we've
So
been working with this manufacturer for about 10 years now, maybe longer. I have a really good relationship with him. We chat almost every day.
there you go.
Um, to understand the difference in the culture, what we tend to think about. This guy drives a real Ford Raptor
Right.
F-150. His daughter's got a Mustang GT. Like, he's a car guy. He gets it. He's also a big entrepreneur. He gives speeches around China, uh, helping people learn how to run businesses properly with proper quality. It's a pretty rare thing over there. So I'm very fortunate that we've teamed up together, and his company. I constantly get pictures of the factory, that it's clean, that there's no child labor in it, and things like that. And I'm sure I'll be making at least one trip to China in this process as well. I don't see not doing that to get this all done.
I was about to say that because Jakey has to go over there once a year
Yeah.
to get things done. So that'd be a good trip, going over to China, seeing a different culture, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. I'm super excited for you. I'm always excited to see my friends and associates do well and aspire to do things different. This is a big thing you have going on, and I know you're going to be successful because you've made it because of you. Not because of you, but you're a big part of why there's an industry for all of this right now. And the word Power Wheels is, and I'm very happy to see you embracing the racing side of things. I remember when we first started talking about it, you wasn't. You was like, it's the other stuff that counts. So I'm glad to see that. And dude, I'm sure I'm gonna get pictures and stuff like that of all this stuff going on. So I'm excited to see this process as well. Filled out
Cool.
in front of me.
Thanks. I'm excited to see it too. So a lot of new stuff that, I never let, just because I don't know how to do it, be a reason not to do it. Figure
You,
out how. Somebody's done each piece of this before. We're just putting it all together.
you know what? In this day and age nowadays, there's no excuse for you to be ignorant on something, because the internet is a beautiful thing. If you want to find out information about anything in the world, the internet has some tidbit about it.
Yeah.
There you go. Well done. I'm super happy for you, Alan. Super happy for you and ML Toys. All right, I think that's it that we're going to discuss. Did you have anything else you wanted to discuss about before we go into this episode's tech tip?
I think that, you know what? I do want to give a little shout out real quick while we're
Okay.
talking about the racing. Racing is expanding rapidly. So if you don't know, if you want to get your kid into racing, go on. We have a Power Wheels Addict Facebook group, and put a post up there. Say, hey, I live here. What kind of racing is in my area? And you'll be surprised what'll pop up, whether it's drag racing, smash up derby, dirt track, whatever. There's a lot out there. We have a couple of groups that have this year really come along. Of course, we talk about Alex all the time. Alex just got a big group in Texas growing really strong. They actually paved their own drag strip, which is really cool. So Texas has that. Midwest Power Wheels is rapidly growing group. That's another group you can look up on Facebook. I, I want to say Ohio, but I think they're further now. They're further west than that. I'm not sure, so I apologize for not knowing the exact location. But Midwest Power Wheels is a rapidly growing group. Of course, we were talking earlier about Lapeer in Michigan. They're actually older than Alex's group. They've been doing it a long, long time. We've helped them graduate kids into junior dragsters. We actually sponsor a junior dragster that they have there. So that's a cool one. They run on drag strips there. Um, and then there's Ohio Power Wheel Racing. Mel Robinson runs that show. One of these days, we'll get him on the podcast as well. And there's other groups all around. I know there's stuff out in Oklahoma going on. Surprisingly, I'm not hearing much in California, but I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sure.
yeah, and if you've got the bandwidth to start a group, then also reach out to us, and especially Alex. That's one of Alex's big focuses is getting new groups started around the country. He'll help you with the rules, what you need to get it done. It's not hard, to hold a Power Wheel race just in your community.
Absolutely. And as for us, we're not just about the drag racing. I'm interested in talking to people from all different forms of power wheel racing or bashing or whatever. So we're in this for the long haul. We're going to be doing interviews and stuff like that. So if you have somebody interesting, I'm learning. So I'm new to this. I'm learning as we go each show and all that stuff. Just hit us up. Hit us up on the Power Wheels Facebook or Instagram. Probably the easiest way. Or Instagram me. I'm sorry. Or hit me up on Facebook, my personal, Keenan Keith White. Good stuff, Alan. You're a busy man. You're gonna have a busy summer. Along with RC racing, you're gonna be busy. Very busy. Very busy, my friend. All right. I think we're coming to the end of this podcast and our tech tip for the week. I think you have it on braking in motors.
Breaking in motors. Yeah. So let's talk about breaking in motors. I get a lot of people asking, why do you have to do that? And then they don't do it. And, 2 or 3 battery runs in, their motor is shot and they don't understand what happened. So let's first talk about what's happening when you break in a motor. A motor, I don't know if the camera is going to pick this up. It probably won't. Inside of there, you really just see the cooling fan that we have. But there's 2 motor brushes that so this is the center of your motor. There's a motor brush on this side and a motor brush on this side. And when you get the motor brand new, the motor brush has a shape to it that's not really ideal to the motor. It needs to wear into the shape, the curve of the armature of the motor. And while it's doing that, it's making a lot of sparks because you're starting with a small contact point when it's flat. And as it curves in, it gets a better contact. It's not arcing as much. It's more efficient. It's running cooler. So we need to get that shape to it. Now, what we there's lots of different methods of breaking in motors that people talk about. One of the, dunking them in water and running them. Motors are actually waterproof. You can run this in a glass of water all day long. It doesn't care. When people's cars get wet and they think their motor failed, no, it's something else. One of the circuit boards, maybe. But the problem with doing like a water break in or just a bench break in is those brushes have to seat in for the direction that the motor is primarily turning. And in a Power Wheels car, you've got motors facing each other. So one's turning clockwise when the other is turning counterclockwise. So it's very important. I guess they're facing that way. Either way, um, it's very important to run the motor in the direction it's primarily going to be used forwards, unless you have a kid that drives backwards all the time. So, and having a little bit of load on them is helpful. So that's why we always instruct bolt it into the gearbox, put it in the car with the tires on, lift the rear end of the car out, and put a brick on the pedal. Put it in forward direction and let it run. That way, it's spinning the direction it's gonna run. It's basically breaking in the way it's going to be used. Run it at the voltage you're gonna run. We get some people that break it in with a 12-volt battery, but they're gonna run it at 24-volt, and again, they can smoke the motors. So break it in at the voltage you're gonna be using the motor at, in the condition it's gonna be, in the car, set in place. And a break-in generally takes about 15-20 minutes. Just let it run, and once it's done, you're ready to go. one of the common things that we see in a ride-on car when the car is lifted up in the air is one motor slows down or comes to a complete stop. And the reason it does that is the series wiring that they're in, when there's no load, it's just like a differential in a car. When there's no load because you've got the car up in the air, one tire, the tire of least resistance, the gearboxes will never be perfect resistance. So the one of the least resistance is going to take all the power and spin that motor up faster. And the one with the resistance to it is going to slow down and possibly stop. If the motor comes to a complete stop, the next best solution to get it broken in is have your kid drive the car in low speed on the ground, stopping as little as possible, safely, of course, because every time you stop, it creates an arc in the motor. And we're trying to prevent that arcing. So have them just drive in low speed for 15 minutes, drive circles, whatever. Once it's on the ground, that load's going to equal out enough on the motors that they're both going to run, and then you're broken in and ready to go. And if you do that properly, generally, especially the 775 motors, they should outlive your kid using the car. These things are really robust, and I'm not just touting our brand. Pretty much any 775 brand of motor, they're usually pretty robust for lifespan durability if they're broken in right. So take a little time, follow those instructions. Every page that we have that we sell the motors on, whether it's bolted to gearboxes or individually, there's links to videos and printed instructions on doing the break-in. So just make sure you follow that when you do it.
Which is handy because I'll be doing this very shortly. I didn't
Yes,
know
you
I had to
will.
do that. So I learned something new today.
Yeah, because you didn't go on the website. You just got stuff sent to you.
Oh, I looked at the video.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did
No,
watch
you
the
did.
video.
You geeked out on all the videos in the beginning.
Yes. Time, man. Time. Time we can't get back. Hey,
Yeah.
this was a great podcast. I enjoyed my chat catching up with you. I'm very chuffed and happy to hear you getting to the races. Happy that you're doing some new products for racing. The new car announcements obviously is huge. I look forward to following that development. And I guess the people will follow it as well as we do these podcasts. And I want to thank you for your time. We're probably going to have you on her again after the race. I'm definitely interested in that. And we're going to be doing some more recordings. So we're going to have Brian on. And like I said, if you're involved in Power Wheels in a different form, we want to talk to you. Like I'm trying to get as much information about Power Wheels. I'm learning. I want people to learn. And I think this was a very good podcast. I thank you. Thank you for your time, Alan. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the chat.
I always love chatting with you.
Are you racing this weekend? RC racing?
No, this is wife weekend. Pool's open.
There you
So,
go.
yeah,
There you go. Well, thank you for your time, Alan. Good luck with everything. And we'll see you after Rockingham.
you got it. See you guys later.
Thank you, everybody, for your time. We greatly appreciate your support. Don't forget to hit that sub, like, notification button on YouTube. Help this channel grow. Share it. Check us out on Instagram as well. Hit our likes, subs as well. They're on the Instagram, followers, as well as Facebook. Help us grow our social media. We appreciate all your support. Thank you to all the sponsors. We have links for them in the written description. That helps us out as well. And we look forward to bringing you the next Power Wheels podcast. Talk to you all later.